So this next question is kind of going what you talked about in the first part of the last question with D Rose or whatever like that. So this is from Micah from Snapchat. He basically wants to know, who are you taking, prime D Rose or prime Russell Westbrook?
I'm going prime Russ. Yeah. I mean, you people don't realize prime Russ is 2000. What year do you want MVP? 2017.
17.
So
even before that, still.
Yeah, like prime Russ. Russ at his absolute peak. So Russ's MVP season matched up with Derrick Rose MVP season. I love Derrick Rose. Yeah, like, but it to me, it doesn't really balance out. You look at the narrative, Westbrook lost Durant and he was able to kind of take, I'm not going to act like the team didn't have any talent. They had some solid pieces out there, but that wasn't a team that I think was meant to be as good as they were, and they definitely kind of exceeded expectations. They weren't spectacular, but they were still pretty solid. He was the clutchest player in the NBA that entire season, and he averaged a triple-double. And he averaged a triple-double while getting his team to win. So when people come to me with he's aiming and all of that stuff, well, I mean, how much is that a criticism when he did it while he was able to take a team that wasn't meant to win? So I'd have to go with Russ, and no disrespect at all to prime Derrick Rose, but I mean, he was a scoring champ that season too, I think. So I got Russ. Yeah.
I mean, did we ever really see D Rose's prime though?
1 year, maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yeah. Because how old was he when he first got hurt?
Man, he got hurt the year after his MVP season. Yeah.
24, 25.
So, I mean, I can't really choose between the two because I feel like we really didn't get to see his legit prime.
Yeah. Well, we saw what. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
We saw what was his prime. I think what you're alluding to is we didn't really get to see him at his absolute peak. Like, we knew there was a lot more where he can go, but we saw what was his prime. So like, I think the question is like, are you basically taking MVP D Rose or MVP Russ? I think it's what it comes down to.
But I mean, I'll take MVP Russ. That's any day. But I mean, prime wise, I think after that MVP season, I really believe there was another level he could go to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's sad that we really didn't get to those injuries kind of.
Yeah, because you look at him now, his kind of weird. Like, at first he was kind of known for his jumper it was like decent, but it can be better. His jumper is better now than it was when he was better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
D Rose I'm talking about. But yeah, his prime was definitely cut short by injury. Because like, if you compare MVP to MVP season, I think D Rose probably had 23 points, but Russ averaged near 30 with a triple double. Yeah. So it's not comparable.
Yeah, and I do want to I think one of y'all said something about it. How he's been able to reinvent himself is amazing. Like, I think and he's probably not going to be in the Hall of Fame, which is sad, but for him to come off of being an MVP and I think he had 2 ACL injuries, because he had the one in 2012 and then the one that season he came back in 2014 where he hurt himself again. And that may have been a different one.
I think that was his ankle.
Yeah. He had an MCL too.
Yeah. But for him to reinvent himself and kind of turn himself into like, we always talk about teams needing a guy who can get them a bucket off the bench. He's become that type of player. And he was also, the last couple of seasons, he's been a very, very coveted, highly coveted free agent. So to see him like reinvent himself the way that he's been able to and stay solid, he's not a top 10 point guard anymore, but he's been able to stay solid, and he's a valuable piece to any team because of his leadership and his experience and his ability to put the ball in the basket. I think it's been something to see, so I'm still taking Russ, but you have to have this level of appreciation for Derrick Rose and how he's been able to stay relevant in the game of basketball for, such a long time. Like, you're thinking it's been 10 years since his MVP season. So.
Yeah, I can say this though, when they were both at their athletic peak, they were very similar as far as athleticism.
Yeah, so
like we never saw guards jump that high. Except Mike, obviously, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But other than that, like in Kobe and stuff like that, and D-Wade, we never saw guards at that height, at 6'2" and 6'3", jump that high.
Yeah. And there were like a select few names, like you're talking about Kevin Johnson in the 90s. Then
it's not a lot.
Who were some other shorter guards who were jumping like that?
Oh, Spud Webb. Spud Webb's probably the best, actually.
Who'd you say, Blake?
Steve
Francis. Yeah. But you took that combined with, as Carl mentioned, is his, overall skill and all of that. So yeah, but no, yeah, I'm going with Russ on this one. Y'all know Russ is one of my favorite players ever. And so I'm gonna run with him on it. But Derrick Rose obviously was a different type of dude, in his peak. So shout out to D Rose.
Say Russ, one of your favorite players, you want to come over to the Lakers? We got a spot. We got a spot for you. You know, he ain't that favorite, huh?
I'll root for him because I want to see him get a ring. Like I think the thing I want the most out of this, I want him to win a ring more than I want the Wizards to do anything this season. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So yeah. But another great question. That's probably one of the most I probably debated with people about that for like the last couple of years, like the Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook thing.
Yeah. I don't think it's really. I don't want to sound wrong, but I really don't think it's that close. I'm being honest.
Nah,
I don't think
it's. Think about it. When you just like Ty said, comparing them to MVP seasons,
it's not that close because he averaged almost 8 more points than him.
Mm-hmm. It was
very good seasons though. Don't get me wrong. Two great seasons, but
in two completely different situations as well. You know, he kind of had that MVP season where the scoring wasn't. It's still 20 plus points a game, and I think I think around 20 points a game. If you're between 20 or 25, maybe today that's like 26, 28 almost. Maybe not.
Because it's for real back in like 2013. When did he win? 2012? 2011.
You won 2011, yeah.
2011. Back then, the most person scored per game probably 26.
It was around 26, 27.
26, 27. And KD was probably at the top all the time. It was him, LeBron, and maybe Kobe. That's it. And then as we start getting, past years, 31 is like now the peak. So that's a big jump.
Yeah. There's also the how young he was narrative too. Like, is he still the youngest MVP of all time?
Yes, yeah, he was like 23 when he won.
Yeah. So shout out to D Rose. But I'm running with Russ on this one. Also, whoever put out that top 10 ranking and decided it was a good idea to put Russell Westbrook in. If you follow us, you know what we're talking about. I don't know what that was about, but
I'm not even no Russ fan like that, but is no way he should be 5 or 6 probably.
Yeah. People don't know how real averaging a triple double is. That's just next level stuff.